Alright, hello. How's it going? I know it's been a hot minute. I would like to say that the reason I haven't been here is because the world has gone to shit. However, we all know that I haven't posted a video since February, so in all honesty, I have barely read a book since February. This semester has been quite a ride. And I really just have not had the time or energy to read, if I'm being quite honest, so I haven't had much to talk about thus far. And then you would think, with everything happening in the world right now, with quarantine and self-isolation, that I would have more time to read. No, not at all. I do work an essential job, which I'm very grateful for. Obviously, I know a lot of people are being laid off or furloughed or having to put in for unemployment, so I am grateful for a job. However, my hours have gone up significantly, so between that and it being finals week, even when I have had downtime, I just don't want to read. I'm too tired all the time. So hopefully, now that we are getting into our last weeks of the semester, I will only have work to focus on, and I will have more time now that summer's coming up to actually read. But for now, I do want to post videos. I like posting videos. I have a lot of fun with them. I have a lot of fun editing them. And I have seen this trend going around. I think the first person I saw do it was Hannah from A Clockwork Reader, but I've seen plenty of people do it since then, and I know a lot of people have been doing it a bit over the years. I've seen Chandler do it a couple of times, reading every book series that they've ever read. Now, one thing that I don't quite understand is where they're getting the tiers that they're using for this website. It looks like a lot of them are using the exact same template and then just subtracting or adding the books on it that they've read. I don't know if that's the case or if they're all just making the same list and they all happen to encompass the same kinds of books. But to be honest, a lot of the books on that list I either haven't read and are on my TBR, books I don't intend to read, or books that I've started or read a couple of the books in the series but haven't finished. And a lot of the people who I've seen do this have counted the books that they've read like one or two of in a series, but I want to do every series I've ever read in its entirety. I think it's more fair that way to rank a series. I think that books should stand well on their own. I don't think I should have to get to book 3 in a series for me to start actually enjoying the series. However, I don't think it's fair to rank a series in its entirety if I haven't read a series in its entirety. So I'm going to do every series I've ever read that I can remember. I'm not using the same template that they use because, like I said, I haven't read a lot of them. So I went back to every series I could possibly remember reading, and I'm sure this is only a fraction of them because I'm including books from like middle and elementary school. I actually remember one right now that I don't feel like going to add, and I don't remember the name of it. It's like White Glove or White Cat or something like that. I read those. So I know this list isn't actually going to be complete per se, but it's complete to the best of my memory and my ability. So let's jump into it. I'm very excited to do something laid back and low-key and that I didn't have to read a new book for necessarily. So here we go. So I pretty much took the same template from Hannah's, except I removed the God tier because honestly I'm indecisive enough. So the first one we have on here is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Now, when I first started the series, I absolutely hated it. I did not get the hype at all. I didn't understand why everybody loved Cardan so much. I could not stand his character, and I thought there was no way that Holly Black could give him a redemption that would be satisfying to me. I also didn't like the writing. I thought it was very different than what I had come to expect from Holly Black, which was weird because I really do love a lot of her work. But I went ahead and finished it anyway, and by the end of the book, I still wasn't completely satisfied, but I was addicted, like real quick. I ended up finishing it in the hallway in between classes, and by the first 5 minutes of my class, I was like on Amazon ordering the next book. So, and of course by the end of the series, I do really love it. I do appreciate the series a lot. However, it's definitely not God tier for me. I can tell you right now there are probably like 2 books on this entire list that are gonna be God tier, and that's it. Do I think that it's great tier? No. Like, when I first finished the series, I think I rated specifically the Cruel Prince 3 stars, if I remember right, but I think I rated the others 3 or 4. So I did really enjoy it by the end, and I enjoyed seeing some other characters from her other books, like Valiant, which is also on here. I think I'm gonna leave it in good tier. I mean, we might move things around later, but honestly, I doubt it. Once I make a decision, I always say that I'll go back. It's like when you do a test and you say you'll go back and check your answers, and you just never do. You turn it in anyway. Anyway, Divergent. I did not hate this series the way that everyone else seems to be hating it now. I will tell you that I hated Allegiant specifically with my whole heart. I refused. I mean, I don't really like the movies that much as it is, but I liked the series enough that I was willing to go watch them. Allegiant will never see a dime of my money. No, that book, and I don't think I'm in the minority here either. That book completely ruined the whole series for me. The same way Mockingjay ruined the Hunger Games for me. But again, can I help you? Yeah, sure. That sounds like a good place for it, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's just okay. I don't think it's a bad series by any means. Even with the 3rd book included, I don't think it's good. But it's not bad. So it's just okay. Harry Potter goes right up here. I know a lot of people have been starting to say that like Harry Potter doesn't deserve as much hype as it has gotten over the years. And I think a lot of that has to do with J.K. Rowling just being problematic. And I know there's a certain point where you can only separate the artist from the art so far. I almost view it completely different than how I view J.K. Rowling. Like, I don't really think of her when I think of Harry Potter, if that makes any sense. So she as a person doesn't really influence my idea of Harry Potter. I will say though that it's been a long time since I've actually read the books, probably in middle school, early middle school. I started them for the first time in like late elementary school, and I think I only reread the series once after that. So it's been quite a few years. I rewatch the movies pretty frequently, but as far as the books are concerned, it's been a long time. So I want to do another reread, and I'm going to reread the first book anyway for another series I have planned. So I'm thinking I'm going to use that as an opportunity to just reread the whole series. And so my feelings might change because it's been so long, but for now, she's still God tier. The House of Night series. I don't know if anybody else read these books. I haven't really heard or seen anybody talk about them. I know she's writing more that are like in this world. I don't think it's part of this specific storyline. These books were not good. Not good at all. I was very addicted to these when they came out. They're very quick and easy reads. So even though there was a bunch of books in the series, I think 10 in total, I read them all in like a week or something like that. And I know that's not a lot for some people, but for me 10 books in a week is quite a bit. However, like I said, yeah, they're not good. They're not well written from what I can remember. But these were kind of, as I'm sure you can tell from the list of books down here, they were kind of my genre, you know, like the trashy YA kind of thing. But they were just bad. They're not like trash books. Like I wouldn't rate them like 1, maybe 2 stars. Maybe. It's been a while, but maybe 2 stars. But I wouldn't give them 1 star. Like they're not trash books. And I did enjoy them at the time. I was a very different reader back then. But yeah, definitely bad tier. Oh, the Hunger Games. I don't know how to feel about the Hunger Games because like I said, I don't like Mockingjay. I didn't like Mockingjay at all. Catching Fire was obviously the best book in the whole series, and you can't fight me on it. I loved Catching Fire. And I do like the Hunger Games. I like the first book a lot. I remember really enjoying them. But to be honest, I haven't really involved myself in this series at all. Like, it didn't have a lot of rereadability for me, so I read it the first time in like 6th grade, and then I watched the movies when they came out, and that's pretty much the only interaction I've had with this series. I know that we're getting a new book that Suzanne Collins is working on, I think President Snow's origin story, so I probably will be interested enough that I'll read that when it comes out. I'm gonna put the Hunger Games, I'm gonna put them in good. I know, I don't think they're great tier, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think they're that high for me. I do think they're higher than The Cruel Prince though, so maybe they should be. No, I'm gonna leave them in good tier. I think they're, yeah, they're just okay. Incarceron, I think that's how you pronounce it. I enjoyed this duology when I first read it, but I don't remember much about it, if I'm being completely honest. I don't even remember the first, or the main character's name. I remember there was like a princess of some kind and some like prison that was alive in some capacity. That's really all I remember of that series, so it's not very memorable. So I don't want to put it in bad because I don't remember enough of it to consider it bad, so we're just gonna leave it in okay. Ooh, Clockwork Angel, that's an easy great tier for me. I absolutely love the Shadowhunter world, so it's not God tier. I know a lot of people, that's their favorite series. I actually haven't read the Dark Artifices yet, and I really want to because I want to pick up Chain of Gold, but I want to have read everything put out before then. So I haven't finished those books yet, but I would say I believe it when people say that the Infernal Devices are the best out of all of the books. Definitely gonna leave that in great tier. I really love that series. Okay, did anybody else read the Lux books? I mean, people must have, obviously, but like I said, booktube really wasn't a thing when I was young enough to have read some of these books, or if it was, like, I certainly wasn't on it. But I loved these books so much. Like, I reread them a lot. I was still reading these like my freshman year of high school. I was re-going over these. They're not good books, but like, well, I feel like objectively they're not well-written books, but they were definitely my flavor of reading. I'm gonna put it in, no, I can't put it in good tier. I just loved them a lot, but I know thinking back on a lot of things in these books, like, they were just not good. I'm gonna put them in bad tier. Yeah, we're gonna leave them there. I have noticed with the Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, a lot of people seem to not like that series. I don't remember a ton from reading these books, but I loved them a lot. Like, I do remember that I absolutely couldn't put them down. I do have the new book that's like Noah's story. I don't remember the full title. But I'm excited to read that book. I don't know why everybody hates these so much. Again, it's been so long since I've read them that I don't remember a ton. So it's, I don't know, it's possible that I just don't remember what all the buzz is about and why everybody seems to dislike them so much. But I'm gonna put them in good tier at least. Oh, Matched. This is another one that I've seen a lot of people talk about when doing this tier ranking, and a lot of people are hating on this series a lot. I feel like the problem with this for me is that a lot of these books I read so long ago that I don't remember enough to properly rank them, but I do remember liking these a lot too. I'm gonna stick it in just okay. Now that I'm looking at these though, I feel like Divergent belongs higher than Matched at the very least. I'm gonna move Divergent to good tier. No, I'm not. All right, anyway, City of Bones. I love these books. I don't care. I know that this seems to be everybody's least liked series. Everybody seems to hate Jace a lot. I love him. I don't have any problems with Jace or Clary. I think they're both great characters. They definitely are not my favorite characters ever written. I definitely love Will, Tessa, and Jem so much better, but I think the series as a whole, for me at least, still deserves great tier. The Complete Persepolis. I recently read these. I actually originally read them for class. If you don't know, they're graphic novels, and I absolutely love these. I love these so much. They are easy great tier. I'm actually, technically I rented it as like a textbook for my class, but I'm probably just going to buy the version I have and take off like the library sticker. I wanted to put them into like a wrap-up, but I don't really have enough books right now that I can put into a full complete wrap-up. I will probably do one once I've gotten enough, and it'll just be like a couple of months worth, and I'll talk about it more then. But beautiful series. I would recommend them to any and everyone. Ruby Red. This bad tier. Easy bad tier. They are not good books. I knew they weren't good books when I read them. That was when my reading tastes kind of started to shift a little bit, and I was not thrilled about the writing, or even really, I think the plotline in theory was intriguing enough, and that's why I kept reading them. Plus I'm a sucker for romance in anything. But that was it. That was all that was holding me on that whole time. Series of Unfortunate Events. I love these. I love the Netflix show too. I love everything about these. These are great tier books for me. So many memories filled with those. Six of Crows, God tier. I know I'm gonna go ahead and count this one, even though I know it's not technically complete. Like, there will be a third book eventually. However, Leigh Bardugo isn't really focusing on that right now. I think she's writing the second book of King of Scars right now, and she's like toyed with the idea, but I know with the Netflix series that's coming out about the Grishaverse and all of that, I don't think she has any plans in the works as far as I know. I just know that someday we'll get a third book, so I'm gonna consider that duology complete. It's still marketed as a duology, so that's good enough for me. Easy God tier. Love those books so much. They are definitely in the running for being my favorite books of all time. I think the Raven Cycle is going to hold that spot still for now, but like they're battling it out. They are definitely battling it out. So on that note, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw the Raven Boys and the Raven Cycle up into God tier. There's almost nothing that can surpass that series for me. I love Maggie Stiefvater. I love her writing. I've never read a book of hers that I didn't like. However, the Raven Cycle is definitely, it's a masterpiece. Splintered. Again, this is in that same category of like trashy YA that I just absolutely adored when I read it. I'm gonna leave it in good tier because I still have very fond memories of that series. I don't remember the writing style specifically, so like I don't remember if it's one of those books like Matched or Divergent that I loved at the time of reading, but definitely know was bad. So I'm just gonna leave her in good tier. The Selection was definitely okay. I am going to watch, I don't know if it's a movie or a series that's coming out. Something is coming out. I think there's a sticker on there right now. Something's coming out on Netflix for it, which I am excited to watch. I'm not excited enough that I want to do a reread. First of all, I think there weren't a lot of books. There was only 3 or 4, I think. And I didn't read either of the sequels. However, I've heard that I'm apparently not missing out on much, and I don't intend to read them. I don't care enough. So I'm just gonna leave them in okay. See, here's the thing. Part of me doesn't know whether to put Twilight in God tier or trash tier, because to me it kind of belongs in both. I know objectively Twilight is a trash tier book. It's just absolutely terrible. However, I love it so much, and I reread it a lot. I think I've reread Twilight like 14-15 times since finding out about the series when I was a little youngin', you know? She belongs in trash here. I can't really deny that. So we're gonna leave her there, but no, I have all the love in the world for that series. Valiant. I, again, don't really remember a ton of these books, but I remember loving the world building And when I saw Roybin and Kay, I have no idea if that's how you pronounce their name, so please don't come for me. When I saw them in the Cruel Prince series, I was floored. I was so excited to see them again. I loved their storylines. I didn't really care for what is it? Tithe. I didn't care for Tithe that much, but I really loved Valiant and Ironside. Those were great books. I'm gonna leave them in great tier just because that's what I remember them being, but a reread might put them more toward good tier. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm gonna leave them in great. And then Shiver goes great tier. I've also seen a lot of people saying that they don't remember Shiver very fondly. That was my first introduction. I think either that or Lament was my first introduction to Maggie Stiefvater's writing, but I think it was Shiver, so I have to credit it for introducing me to her because I absolutely adored those books. I love Mercy Falls. I love that whole world. So she's going in great tier. Yeah, we're moving Lux to trash tier. I don't know why I thought that bad tier was a good place for that. Should I leave House of Night in bad tier? Should I move it to trash tier? It's fine. She can stay in bad tier. It's not a terrible series. So that's pretty much it. Those are all the series that I have ever read and completed. I kind of have a bad habit of reading either the first book in a series or every book except for the last book in a series and then giving up because I get bored or lose interest, or like I think they should have stopped after the third or fourth book because it had a good ending and then they ruined it by just keeping it going for too long. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching, I promise I will have new content coming out soon. I'm just very exhausted at the moment and I can't bring myself to read as much as I would like to be, but we do have plans, so stick around and yeah, see you guys next time.